I think our numbers for San Angelo is 82% of the people that are admitted to the hospital with COVID have not been vaccinated, which means 18% have been vaccinated. When the vaccines first came out, when we were talking about the original wild strain, we said that the Pfizer vaccine was 95% effective against that strain. Well, it looks like it may be somewhere between 38 and 65% effective against the Delta variant, which is what's running rampant around here right now. So, we've got a new virus. We've got a variant, a mutated virus. This isn't the one that we started with. But we do know that the COVID vaccines, all of them, decrease the likelihood that you're going to get serious disease and tremendously decrease the likelihood that you're going to get put in intensive care or die. But it's not a guarantee, because we have had people that are vaccinated die, but way more people who aren't vaccinated are getting in ICU, and they're the ones that most of our fatalities are. Tell your kids to wear a mask. I mean, we can't mandate you have to do it, but we can't mandate saying you can't do it. Use common sense. If it's been the right thing to do up to now, is to wear a mask, continue wearing the mask. The youngest person I've seen with COVID so far has been 5 weeks, and I just saw a 97-year-old, so pretty much any age group can get it. Luckily, most of the young kids who get it aren't affected really bad by it. We're seeing more serious RSV patients as far as young kids than we are serious COVID patients. But once you start getting upper teens, 20s, 30s, 40s, then we're seeing people with serious disease coming in with COVID, whereas that first big peak that we had, those were all the people 65 and older. Now most of the people we're seeing are below 65. We're seeing tremendous numbers of people in this young age groups from, a lot of 30 and 40-year-olds that are looking really sick with this Delta variant. Some people in their 20s, but, most of the ones that we're really worried about are the 30s, 40s, and 50-year-olds, people that made it through that first big spike. We're still seeing elderly folks, the 65 and above, coming in with the Delta variant, but we're seeing a lot of the younger people. And we're not sure if that's because this virus has mutated enough to go after, if you would, younger people, or just because so many more of the elderly people got their vaccine. And more like 85% vaccinated amongst the elderly. They're the smart ones. That's how they got to be this old. Yeah, it's heartbreaking. I've got a young, fit friend who will never be the same again because of COVID. I mean, yeah, we're seeing really sick young people who are getting COVID. It's, their lives are changed forever. Even if they survive the COVID, they're going to have these long-term health problems that are just heartbreaking. You get put in the hospital usually because of shortness of breath, like the COVID pneumonias. And then when you can't be handled with just nasal oxygen or high flow nasal oxygen, then you'll get put on BiPAP, which is a pressurized mask that pushes against your face, and the air inside there has got increased pressure, and that pressure kind of puts oxygen down to your lungs. But if you fail BiPAP, then you end up needing to be put on a ventilator. And to be put on a ventilator, you have to have a tube put in your mouth down into your windpipe. And for that to happen, you need to be sedated. So normally the people that are on ventilators are sedated. A lot of times they're paralyzed because it's uncomfortable, and they fight the ventilator. It's a miserable experience to be on a vent. The immunity that you get with having caught COVID isn't as strong as the immunity that you get when you've been fully vaccinated. And we also know the immunity from being fully vaccinated wears off after time, just like the immunity from having caught COVID wears off. It just seems to wear off faster if you caught COVID than if you're vaccinated. But as soon as boosters come out, get your booster. Boosters have been approved for the immunocompromised, people with solid tissue transplants, cancer patients, people that are immunosuppressed. The booster has been approved for those. That's maybe 1.5% to 3% of the population is eligible for that. But Pfizer just today put in their application for a full booster approval for everybody, because around the world it's been shown that you're going to need that extra dose. So since it's a while to get that application approved, I think they went ahead and put it in now, so it'll be available as soon as we can do it. Well, it's the same thing I always say: wear a mask, 6 feet away from people that you don't know. Get vaccinated. I mean, the easiest thing is get vaccinated, because if you're vaccinated and you have a close exposure to somebody who's got COVID, you go about your life as normal, as long as you don't have symptoms. If you don't, you're not vaccinated and you're close to somebody, then you need to be quarantined for 10 days. I mean, it keeps you at work, and I assume you're like me. I don't get paid when I don't work. I assume most people don't get paid when they don't work. So by getting vaccinated, that's 5-10 days of work they get in that they wouldn't get if they're not vaccinated.